We're live. What is up, guys? We're back. Super excited. I'm still in Las Vegas with Andy. We're flying back tonight, but very excited to have Efdot back on, man. Eric, welcome.
What's going on, Blake? Thanks for having me back on. Nice to see you and hear about what you're up to in Vegas.
Yeah. It's been it was a pretty quick trip, but it's been productive, and I'm excited to get back in the studio and get back to work, to be honest.
How long have you been out there? A few days?
Yeah, we flew in on Monday, so Monday morning pretty early, and we have a red eye tonight, so we leave at 11 p.m. and then we lose the 3 hours coming back to the East Coast, and so we actually land at like 7 a.m. and I'm just gonna go straight into the studio and work. We're gonna both sleep on the plane and then head straight to the studio from the airport.
I always think I'm going to be able to sleep on the plane, and I plan my whole next day around it, and then it doesn't happen, and then my whole next day goes to shit.
Yeah. Well, we were lucky. We both slept pretty well on the way there, but we decided that for the way back, we're going to buy those like neck pillow things.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. I have one. It's just in New York, and I have it, and I always forget to bring it. And then I always regret not bringing it. So we're just going to buy a couple since like it's important that we get sleep because tomorrow we do have a busy day.
Yeah, man. Busy days every day, pretty much.
I know, man. It's crazy life right now we're living. All right. So I guess, so before we get into it, I'll just let everyone know, and I'll only say this a few times, but below this video is the link to buy Efdot's Derek Jeter card. It is amazing. I bought 10 of them myself. I'm very excited about it. I think I told you this, but like it's my favorite card that you've done, and you keep doing cards that are like, I think you're outdoing yourself every time, which is definitely a good direction to go in. So everybody has until 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to get that card. Links down below this video. And, Eric and I, Efdot and I are just going to have a conversation and be chilling. We have a lot of questions that fans sent in over Twitter when Andy gets back in the car. Because I'm streaming from my car in Las Vegas. He has those questions on his phone. Besides that, we're just going to like get into it and talk about art, hang out.
Since we're talking about the Jeter card already, I have my iPad here. So obviously I don't have the physical cards with me, but I can grab my iPad and show you some of the details that maybe you didn't see just from the little like Topps mock-up.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about this one corner of the card because the canvas that's being given away with a random order is actually in the card.
Oh, wow.
In the background.
That's awesome.
So I wanted to tie that in. It was a bit of a last minute addition, but check this out.
Yeah.
So here's the finished card, which you saw, but if you look back here, backwards, see all this like line work going on in the background?
Yeah. Totally.
So there's the canvas behind the DJ.
Wow, that's cool, man. I love it.
It's kind of hard to see, but if you look closely, there's the Yankee blob.
Yeah. Dude, that's so cool.
I'm talking about this canvas behind me here.
Yeah. Hold that back. Oh, there we go. Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. It's such a cool piece, man. And so you made that with like a crink marker, right?
Yeah, just like these little paint markers. I got them in a bunch of different colors and New York City brand.
Yeah. I like those. I was just talking to Andy about that. We want to get more. I have a couple of them, and I've played with them just a very little bit. But I love like seeing what you do with them, what Gregory Siff does with them. It's a really cool medium. I love how like you can like squeeze it extra and like really get those drips going if you want to. It's really cool. I love it.
I think I started using it because I saw some skateboarders doing it a few years ago, like with their graffiti on the skate park, on the skateboards.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, what would this be like as a tool for fine art? And it's really hard to work with actually because it dries really slowly and compared to acrylic markers.
Sure.
And it drips a lot, but once you get the hang of it, it's really cool. You can overlap the colors because you know how translucent it is and stuff. Check out this corner of the card where I have the 4 train.
Yeah.
And then if you see the BX on the top of the train.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Dude, that's
little hidden details like that. I found out that during the Subway series, they actually skinned out a train to be themed like Yankees and Mets on the train. So I like incorporated that, little graphics inside Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. There's the blob too.
I spent way too much time on this card, I think.
Nah, you can't, man.
Another
I think
little
you spent just the
area
right
here.
amount of time.
That's Kalamazoo, Michigan, where Derek Jeter was born.
Nice. That's awesome.
Obviously, the captain's hat. I was excited about this detail. Some people said that I should have made this the entire card, like just put him big with the captain's hat. But I kind of wanted it to be a subtle little detail in there. That's one of his the flip play right there.
Yeah.
From a Yankees game.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I get. So he was your favorite player, right, growing up?
I'm like nerding the hell out right now. I know. Yeah.
no. It's awesome. I love that. No, keep it going, man. Keep it going. I love seeing all that.
Those are the main. That's the main stuff I was excited to share. I just wanted to like get it out of the way. But yeah, he was my favorite player growing up. I definitely had a poster of Derek Jeter. It kind of looked like this actually, and that's why I made the card with this image rather than, the original card image as like the main focus. So I wanted to like just tap into that nostalgia from my own times at Yankee Stadium.
Yep. Did for like using the other image, is that something that you talked to Topps about ahead of time, or just kind of did it and then showed him after, or what?
I just searched around for images that you could buy the rights to. So this was a Getty image.
Okay.
And I actually wanted to use a different one, but then this one was like more available to use. The other one, I didn't know how to get the rights to use it. So I just asked Topps. They said, send us the Getty ID number, and they took care of it basically.
Wow. So, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool for them to do. And good to know too, going forward. I wonder if like, and this is just an aside outside of Topps, but like if you or I just say bought rights to a Getty image of any player, could we just make our own card with that image and do our own thing with it? Like outside of Topps, do you think? I don't really know the logistics of
I feel like once you buy the rights to it, it obviously comes with a little license agreement. Mm-hmm. And then inside that, like that probably has the details you're looking for of like what you are and are not allowed to do with it.
Right.
I think you could probably do it though if you find the right website.
Yeah, because that would be interesting. That'd be an interesting thing to explore. I think I love working with Topps and stuff too, but it's always good to like control your own destiny. And if doing stuff with Topps and also outside of Topps, I think is like a strategic way to kind of hedge the bets and spread it out. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Let's see here. Let's talk. So, and I know we talked about it a little bit before we jumped on this, jumped on the live, but like, so the two giveaways that you're doing, you did the jersey and you have that canvas, and so those are just being inserted almost like the gold 1-of-1 frames. Right? Yep,
exactly. Yeah, Topps. I'm sending them to the Topps' shipping facility in Florida, and then they're going to insert them. Yeah.
That's
I don't know how they're going to insert them exactly because it's a big item.
It's they're probably going to do a redemption card.
Maybe.
You know how you get those, because like how are you going to put it? You can't put the canvas in otherwise somebody's going to know. They're going to get a huge box. They're going to be like, oh, I got the insert. The jersey's a little bit easier. You could like put that in a nice bag and kind of fold it up pretty compact. But it'll be interesting to see how they execute that. And same thing with like the chain that they did with Ben Baller. Did they send someone an insert, or do they actually just mail the jewelry?
I'm not sure. I gotta ask them, but also I trust them. They've been doing this for longer than me.
Oh yeah. So, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It would be interesting to like get your tracking number and be like, oh, my card's arriving on Friday, and then you come home and there's like a giant box on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's super awesome.
The other giveaway I'm doing is just for Patreon people. So if you don't know, I have this group on Patreon where it's like $5, essentially like a tip for every card that I do, and then in exchange you get a lot of behind the scenes content. Obviously, like you don't have to stick with me for the whole series, but if you do, that's like $100 for the whole series. Right. And part of that is like exclusive giveaways. One of the giveaways I'm doing with the Jeter card is I'm giving away one of these sketches behind me that I made during the process of making the card. And so all you have to do to enter is be in Patreon and then guess the print run. So I've been doing these guess the print run giveaways with every single card pretty much, except for one. And I've been giving away autograph cards, but I'm delaying my autos a little bit for this one. So I thought I would do one of these sketches instead.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. And so where do they guess? Do they go in within Patreon? There's like a little comment section they guess there. Or are they tweeting at you, or how does that work? Because I'm in your Patreon and I want to make a guess.
I want to know what your guess is now if you have one.
Sure. Let's see here. 12,023.
Okay, is that a significant number to you?
23 is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought of it on the spot. I don't know. I think obviously we've seen so much ups and downs for print runs. I think that, if we look at some of the print runs recently, we've seen some lower numbers than obviously when we were everything was soaring. I think we've had some sub 5K ones, but I think that the Jeter card's awesome. Jeter obviously comes with, he's a popular player in the set. And I think the card's awesome. So for me, I think that 12K for where we're at right now with print runs, I think is a really strong number. And I think it's a strong card. So I think it's going to hit a strong number. Wow. Pretty big news. 21,368. Well, I hope that Matt's right. But pretty big news saying, that's low. 23,223 Tess says. 22,222 Doug Matthews says. Man, maybe I am low. I don't know. I gotta look back. I thought that a lot of the print runs we were seeing 4,500, 5,500, 7,000. So for me, if I was doing a card right now, I feel like if I had a 12,000 print run, I'd be stoked.
I'm stoked either. I'm stoked whatever happens, but
of course. Yeah.
I don't like when people message me and they say, "Oh man, I missed your card." So that's why you see me promoting it a lot, during that 48-hour window. Obviously, we make the more money, the more sales that Topps makes, the more we get in that small percentage that we get out of the cards. But my goal is not to just promote Topps as much as possible this year. Obviously, I'm building my own business, and Topps is helping me do that immensely, and I'm gonna return many favors for them and help them. But it's a process of just making sure that I get the card out there a bunch of times during that window so that nobody misses out. Because a lot of my friends, even ones who have had no idea about Project 2020, this is their first card. So just this could be someone's first live stream.
Totally.
For you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, James thinks it might hit 35K. He is a Yankee. That's right.
I got 35K for my Tony Gwynn, but that was back. Times. It was 31K actually, I think.
That's awesome. Well, the Gwynn was a gorgeous card too. I love that with the palm trees.
I'm waiting on that one. That's the next one that I'm due from Topps. So hopefully next week it comes in.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I have here, Andy, let me use his phone. I have some questions from different fans on Twitter. And so let's go through a few of them. So guys, we will do all of them. There are 18, or 17. But we'll just do a couple and then just see where the conversation takes us and then pop back in or whatever. Let's see here. Blake has better Wi-Fi in parking lot at the moment. Yeah, I do have a surprisingly good connection. We're here at.
How's my connection in the audio? Is it good for everybody?
I think it sounds good, but I don't know. We'll see what everyone else says. I think it's great. Okay, sweet. So this is what is from Octo Castellanos, which I believe is also on the stream. Is Octo Castellanos is his Twitter handle? I think it's Octavio. It says, and this is a question for you, are you related to Ted Williams? I heard he was cryogenically frozen and you have a striking resemblance. Two people mentioned actually about the Thiel card of how it looks like he's cryogenically frozen. Okay, so that one's not really a question. Octavio.
I mean, maybe I am. Who knows, man?
Yeah. No, I can see it, man. Okay,
this is my Ted Williams face.
Nice. Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully no one just screenshotted that. Put that on a cover.
I can see it. Okay, so it says, this is from 7/12/21. Where were each of you when you were approached for Project 2020, or did you apply, and who was with you? And then it's, what player are you most excited to design out of the cards you have left to complete? And how has your life changed? So this is a 3-part question. So we'll start with the first part. So where were you when? So I don't think any of us applied, right? I don't know. I got approached by Topps. I got a cold email from Jeff, and he set up a phone call. And I was like physically at my studio when I got that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I was when I got the email. I think I was just at my apartment with my girlfriend Jessie, and I saw it come through. Yeah, I had just recently left my job. Actually, I was working full time until October, and I was at WeWork where I got to do a lot of great art and like murals and stuff for them. So it didn't really feel like a job a lot of times. But yeah, I left like hoping that the freelance work would come, and this project was like, oh my God, like a year-long deal with Topps. Like, okay, no brainer. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Which player that you haven't painted yet are you most excited to design?
I started Don Mattingly. I'd say that's my second favorite pick because I'm a Yankees fan.
Yankees, yeah.
I think Trout is going to be a big one. I'm really excited about that one. Sandy Koufax is just a classic card.
Yeah.
Those are my top three, I'd say. What about you?
I'm really excited for the Griffey. Griffey's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's the one I'm most excited about. I have no idea when that one is. I was just told. So my next card, my Ichiro comes out on the 22nd, which I think is like a week from now. A week from today. And then I was just told that my Ted Williams will be following that around August 5th. So that's,
do you feel like you have enough time to like do these paintings and stuff with everything else going on?
Yeah, it hasn't been too tough.
You got to do it anyway. So
exactly. Like when it comes down to it and the paintings due, I make time for it, and everything else gets pushed back. But let's see here. Okay, so and then, how has your life changed since Project 2020?
How's my life changed?
Yeah.
I was able to bring on a team to help me with a lot of stuff that I don't really enjoy doing as much as the art. Yep. So that's been cool. I'm still in the process of letting things go as per our last conversation on your live stream.
Yeah.
And what else? I've been able to do a lot more charitable projects this year that I've ever done before. So that's been cool. Just because I think right now, like, we need people setting that example that even if you're, young, you can still give to charity, and even if it's a little bit. And obviously the charities need help, so it's a good thing to do. I know that was one of the other questions someone asked was like, why are you doing, what's your motivation behind the charity work? So it's just a no-brainer. And now that I feel like we have a responsibility to do it too, like redistribute some funds that we don't need right now. But we all got goals. And what else has changed? I got this new studio, which is next door to my old one, which is bigger.
You want to pan around and show people?
It's totally empty right now, pretty much. But here's the other side of the studio.
Sick. Yeah, it looks like a monster.
Just got in here.
Massive.
Got the tables over here for painting. There's a little fire escape.
That's cool.
Yeah, but actually, my favorite part is over here because we got like a loft ceiling. So you can see how the planet comes up and over here.
Yeah.
And we're going to build, I think I'm going to build like a loft up there.
Nice.
So you can go chill up there when it's like, maybe put some plants, feel like you're in a little tree house.
Yeah. That's great, man.
Like that. Yeah, what about you? How's your life changed?
Yeah, similar, man. We, same thing. Like, I finally have a team of people that have, fortunately, like, I've been really lucky with everyone that's come on board has been like such a good asset to the team. And, we're doing things now that I would never be able to do working solo. And, it's also like everyone gets along really well. We're all good friends, and because we spend so much time together. So that's like really cool. And, and then same also in terms of like expansion stuff, I ended up renting the studio next door to mine, which was actually smaller than my painting room, but we set that up kind of as an office and shipping center, which has been great. And then Matt, who's starting the Pretty Big News podcast, got his own space too in the building. So technically it's his space, but it's also kind of a joint venture between us. And so that's like another cool thing that we have going on. It's changed a lot, man. You never know. Like, obviously the Topps 2020 project is great. It is going to come to an end at some point, but I feel like my career will never be the same, as it was before Project 2020 started. Even when the project is over, I feel like I'm going to be carrying a lot of momentum and a lot of like excitement into future projects, which I'm really excited about.
Agreed, man, for sure. I think another thing that's changed for me is I just feel really connected to my fans now because
Totally.
I have this Patreon group, and I feel like because we're redesigning their heroes in these cards and my heroes too, you know, like Jeter, people have a very strong emotional connection to the art, and they want to know why we chose, you know, the way we did it certain ways, and it's a collector's item, so it just brings a lot more passion than typical. You know, my old art projects actually, like people, they got a lot of questions about this project, and you know, with my other artwork, it's like, what paint did you use?
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Well, I guess sometimes people want to know the story behind the art, and I like to share that. But this time it's about like their story and their nostalgia, and so it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy connection with the fans, and that's another thing that I feel like beyond Project 2020, like I've built so many friendships that I think are going to carry on for a lot longer than Project 2020. You know, a lot of these, honestly, a lot of people here on these streams, I met through this project. Also, shout out my dad. I see he's on here. I know my mom tunes in all the time. My sister. So like, it's really cool. You know, getting to share that with both like close friends and family, and also like all these new friends that we're making is pretty amazing experience.
Yeah. It's cool. Some of the stories that we get to hear from the fans and how their cards are impacting their kids and making them want to do art. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about it, is seeing other people do art inspired by what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's surreal. It's crazy.
Yeah. For sure, man. Let's see here. So DJB11 Go Blue on Twitter asks, when are we going to collab on a project? Soon. So we've talked about, you know, either coming to each other's studios, whether we're working in my studio or working in your studio. As far as timing, I know we were originally talking about next Friday. However, I am in Las Vegas, which has a 14-day mandatory quarantine when I can get back to New York, and I plan on taking that seriously. Sorry to spring that on you just in the middle of the stream, but you know, cool. So I think that like once I'm past that, anyway, DJB, then Eric and I are going to collab on something. It's going to be awesome. Let's see here. Okay, this is a good one. This is from Loon Cal CR Livin. Where do you research info on the players and find those Easter eggs facts for your cards? That's a great question.
By the way, I just switched to high definition. I don't know why I was on 480p, so hopefully I should be a little clearer. But good question about the Easter eggs and the research. I usually start just by going on like Google and Wikipedia, just to get some basic facts if I really don't know much about the player. And then I write down my favorite things. I make a list, and then I do a brainstorming post on my Patreon page, which I feel like is a risk because a lot of people, they want their ideas to be on my card, and obviously like it's my art, so I get to decide what goes in the card. And sometimes people are like really like strongly suggesting like you should put this on the card, it's going to do really well, and I'm just like, okay, chill, you know, like I got this. Like, I love your input, but no promises, you know. So I usually do a brainstorming post, and then I take the best things out of that comment section. There's some really good ideas people come up with. The captain's hat was one of them.
Dude, the captain hat's awesome. And honestly, I was so like focused on the big image, and I saw the little image, and I knew that was kind of the one from the reference card. But like until you zoomed in and showed me, I actually didn't even I didn't realize that it had a captain's hat on, which I think is just it's brilliant.
Yeah, I could have done it the other way around, where like the bigger photo of Jeter has the captain's hat, but like it's a small little detail. I didn't want it to be gimmicky, like he actually is a pirate or something.
Sure. Yeah.
That would have been a cool direction. Like you can go super funny, like I don't know, the Big Mac from Sith was so over the top.
I love it so much. And that was one of the questions I saw. If somebody asked like, how are we going to top that? Let's see here. So that's good. And same thing for me, like Google. I did get Doc Gooden's book that I'm gonna read before I do the Doc Gooden card. So I'm excited for that. I got the Willie Mays book called 24 is the title. But I didn't get that. I didn't even order it until like my Willie card was already submitted. But I'm excited to read some of the player stories directly from the
I wish
source.
there were audiobooks that were actually dictated by the player. That would have been so
Oh,
sweet.
that's so sick. Yeah, the Willie Mays one actually is on Audible, and I got it on Audible. I don't know who narrates it, but I don't think it's him.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, this is a good question. This is from Lunchmade. Would love to hear what your guys' top 5 movies of all times. It says movies influenced me and my persona a lot. Favorite actors, characters, or directors. Word life. So top 5 movies. I know mine.
I don't know my top 5, but I can just go starting from the top. Yeah.
Sure.
I love anything with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So I'd say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and the Truman Show are two of my favorites. I love
the Truman Show. I love the Truman Show.
So good. I also love The Matrix.
Yep.
Inception, all those kinds of movies that just like mess with your perception of reality. Interstellar.
Yep.
Those are just like memorable ones for me, but I also just love comedies and like goofy movies that I can fall asleep to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, Pet Detective, the Ace Ventura was good. Caddyshack, that's a good one, Andy. So mine are the Lego Movie, and this is in no particular order. I love cartoon movies too. The Lego Movie, Despicable Me is definitely up there. Crazy Stupid Love. I love like Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell are so good in that. Let's see here. The Usual Suspects, I think, is a great movie with one of the best like twist endings I think ever. And Limitless. I love Limitless.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. I like Bradley Cooper, and I love the idea of if there was like a super pill to use 100% of your brain. That's just a fun.
It is a cool concept. That's what I like about those movies. It's just like, what if that they make it feel believable.
Yeah. Totally. Let's see here. So Clerks 37 asks which ones we're looking forward to the most. That one was also asked above. Let's see. What's been your best experience working on Project 2020? Would you do it again if asked? And I would absolutely do it again if asked. I think that my favorite part about it is like these type of things and like the relationship with the other artists. Just relationships across the board, I guess, like with the fans, connecting with the hobby community and, and the other artists. So my favorite part is definitely relationships.
Yeah, I think my favorite part is relationships too. But if I had to kind of go beyond that, I'd say just the cycle of getting ready for a new card, thinking about it, figuring out my like approach, going through that creative process that is so not linear. Sometimes it's like you have an idea and then you think it's crap and then you redo it and then that one's crap and then you like go through the cycle of things and then eventually you come up with something that's better than you expected. And totally. I think I live for that in all my projects, but in this project specifically, there's just been so much of a roller coaster with obviously like the way it's received too plays a role in it. You can't lie, like if someone loves your art, like it's going to make you feel good. And if they don't love your art, hopefully you don't take it to heart too much, but it does affect how you approach the next card. Totally. Sometimes, I mean, whether you try to or not, you got to be, unless you just shut yourself out from all that stuff. It definitely, I'm not used to so many eyes on my work. So
it's great. That's a great new thing to have.
I'm also not used to seeing my art printed by the thousands.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's fun. I'm also not used to like people like really wanting my autograph.
That too. Yeah.
It's an amazing, crazy experience, man. And as far as like, future cards ties into the next question from Jake, 1725, asking what advice I can give you when you make your trout and what advice you can give me when I make my Jeter. It's a good question, Jake. Honestly, man, I think that, Efdot's work is dope on its own. Like, I don't, that's like so fun to like see other artists and see what they do in their like, in their mind and what they put down on the card. So I wouldn't really I don't think I would give any artist any advice on making the cards. I'm just excited to see what they do.
Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have fun. Exactly. That's good. Yeah. How about you?
Enjoy it. Because, it's easy with creativity sometimes to get in your own head about it and lose sight of the fun part and just be so focused on like getting it done and doing your best possible work. And I think I've gotten really good at snapping myself out of that mode of like, this needs to be perfect or this needs to be my best card ever. It's like the point is just to have fun, make something cool. You know, you can't always plan what's going to be your best work yet. It just happens. And, you know, I like to try to keep outdoing myself, but there's probably going to be some cards in the future that are, especially with like the lower tier players, where I'm going to spend more time on Trout than I am on some of the other players, you know? So probably. I've actually been debating, like after I did this canvas, I was like, maybe I should just do a really minimal card because I feel like my cards have been getting more and more complex. And at some point it's like too complex for the size of the card. So what if I do one? I mean, either I'll do companion cards that have more of my simple bold style, or I'll actually start applying that to the Project 2020 cards. And I mean, I can continue working with photography, or I can try to abstract the portrait a little bit.
Totally. I think that Fucci did that with his most recent card, the Dom Mattingly card. Seems like he kind of went the simple, and it's actually kind of similar to that. You know, it's the blue just on white, and I thought it looked really good. I liked it a lot, and it's definitely easy to just keep like piling on and thinking like, oh, next time I need to add more stuff. But at some point, you know, we are printing on something that's like 3.5 by 4.5 inches or whatever, and you know, there's an upper limit of stuff we can put on the cards. I thought this question was good. This one came straight in the comments here. Let's see, where did it go? This is from Dan Curtis. He says, love what you guys are doing and creating. There's so much positivity, but how do you deal with criticism?
Well, you got to think about it like this. Whether or not somebody loves your art, they're not thinking about you all day. You know, they're not ruining their life with their art. If I was going to ruin someone's whole life with my art, that would make me feel bad, you know. But if it's just something where someone doesn't like my art, they're gonna leave a negative comment, and then they're gonna go on with their day. Like, you don't really matter to them, so like, why should their comment matter to me? You know. And obviously, like, I think that the kind of art that you want to avoid is the stuff that gets all medium reactions. Like, you want people to love your art and hate your art and everywhere in the middle, and that's that like polarity that makes it really, that makes like passionate fans. Because if you were just doing everything safe, like, you'd be vanilla. I actually like vanilla ice cream, but you know, with art, I don't like my art to be vanilla.
No, that makes sense, man. Yeah, I agree. I think that if my art's not pissing at least a couple people off, I'm probably not pushing the boundaries enough. Because like you said, it's about creating those conversations. And if you create something that everybody's just apathetic towards, they're not going to be talking about it and they're not going to remember it. So I don't know. Criticism doesn't really bother me. I feel like ever since I started painting full time, there's always been somebody that says, you know, that they don't like my art, and that's okay.
Yep. And I think you can't try to rationalize it either. Sometimes I find myself like, oh, maybe he's right. You know, maybe I messed up that part of the card, but then I'm like, wait a second. No, I purposefully did this in this way, or I developed this style to not be anatomically correct with my drawings. Like somebody called me out and was like, you didn't even get the head where it's supposed to be in this canvas. I'm like, you thought I was trying to make like something photorealistic here? Like, no, or anatomically correct. So I try to realize that some people are just dumb. Like, some people are just like, they try to make something that it's not. You know?
Absolutely.
Or they don't understand art at all, and so you can't. I mean, what's that quote from Teddy Roosevelt? It's like, the credit belongs to the man who's in the ring, not the onlooker, but the person who's like covered in blood and sweat and like trying and showing up and like putting themselves out there. And then like the critic doesn't do anything sometimes. You know, like.
Yeah, totally, man. Let's see. I saw another good one here on. Let's see, where to go. This is from Michael Corbley. Says, "Who's one player that you wish was in the set but isn't?"
Mantle.
Sure. Oh, that's a good one.
I'm going to be painting a Mantle today.
Tight. That's awesome.
He's doing a commission for somebody. I actually asked him to do an interview, and he said, you know, I'm trying to stay anonymous. So I respect that.
Nice. I didn't know. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've talked to him a few times, but I wanted to invite him on the stream, but that's good to know. Maybe I will not. I'll just respect his privacy and let him do his thing. Let's see here.
What's your favorite? What player do you wish was in the set?
Oh yeah, good question. So I think it'd be fun if there was more current players. I really like Buster Posey. I know he's not playing this season. That's okay with me, but that would be fun. Bo Jackson would be awesome.
I have a Bo Jackson tiny card.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah,
Just
probably those. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see here. This is Mike. OMG Card Pulls. What inspired you to incorporate and pursue the various charity work you're both doing during Project 2020? Great question. And, he's helped a lot with some charity project stuff. So for me, like I've always done some type of charity work. There's a summer camp that I volunteer at every summer. CJ Anderson's Dreams Never Die, kind of for inner city kids and giving them something fun and productive to do over the summer. And so I just think that it's just changed with this project where I have more resources now and I have more reach. And so, I think that the concept of charity and giving back is not a new thing because of the project. It's just amplified because the project allows me to amplify it.
Hell yeah, man. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
I got a call tomorrow with United Way. We're talking about, besides just donating money from the cards, we're talking about doing some kind of collaboration together.
Yeah.
Hopefully a mural would be sweet to get the community involved and create something impactful in New York City.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if we do that. Maybe you can come out for it for a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. So many charities are doing great work and they need help. So I think you're right. It's just getting more resources helps us amplify it and bring more insight. And also with each card, it's an opportunity to point people towards a charity.
Totally.
Or the same charity if you feel like that's the one. But
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's also I've done a lot, and this also ties in the next question of donating art to be auctioned off at charity auctions. So I worked with Make-A-Wish for the last 3 years, and that's been really good. So we just had a eBay auction where I was matching and we were donating to Make-A-Wish. But yeah, man, it's so cool. So this guy, Seattle Coffee, says he volunteers, or sorry, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Actually, it could be a girl. They volunteer with a couple of veterans-based charities. Would it be possible to send some cards and stuff to be featured in your YouTube episode to raise funding and awareness for them? Yeah, sure. So we'll reach out over DM. And I think if I'm understanding this correctly, I think they're sending stuff to be featured in my YouTube or our YouTube. I don't know. Or if they want me to send us to send them stuff. Either way, it's fine with me.
You always say yes to every offer. You're so nice to all your fans. For me, I'm gonna prioritize the Patreon first, try to fulfill all that stuff, and then if I have time, I'll take on more stuff because I'm already, I'm taking on a lot with that. And then there's people who don't even know about it and they're asking for stuff, and I'm like, I have this thing where I give these people my attention first.
Sure. Yeah. I think you did a really good thing with the Patreon. And that's so fun to see how every artist is doing it differently, And I don't know. I think you're doing a great job with it, man. I love it.
Thanks, man. I mean, I wonder what had I not done the Patreon sometimes, because it's it does make a bit of a polarizing thing, and a lot of things are not public. So I make a lot of content that some people don't even get to see for the project, and they can't see it unless they go into Patreon. Some things I've been sharing in both places, in my public social media and then in Patreon, or I'll just go deeper on it in Patreon with the writing of it. And I really enjoy it. And it's funny because I used to really dread sending email newsletters. It's just work that I don't enjoy doing, but I love writing my patrons. I love writing to them.
Cool.
Yeah.
And if this is private, you're totally fine not answering it, but how many patrons are you up to?
Hovering around 500, a little bit under right now. Yeah.
Dang, that's amazing, man. Congratulations. That's really great.
It's been around that number. I think my fans found me. They found the Patreon, and that's kind of been the number the last few weeks. Yeah. We'll see if Jeter or Trout or someone brings in a whole flood of new people, but it's cool that's they say you need 1,000 true fans.
Yeah, I think they say you need 100 true fans.
Oh yeah, is that it?
Yeah, it's 100. If you have 100 diehard fans, you could be successful. in almost anything. At least that's what I've always believed, and I believe I read that somewhere.
I'm reading it.
It could be
read
1,000.
Stephen Kelly. Stephen Kelly, who started IDEO, that design agency. He wrote 1,000 true fans, because if you have 1,000 true fans that can pay you like $100 a year, which a lot of people are spending more than that on the art. But if you have 1,000 true fans that are spending $100 a year, that's $100,000. So that's really great.
And that's almost enough to live comfortably in New York. Just crazy. No, you're right. I think obviously, if you have 100 fans that pay you $1,000 a year, that's the same kind of
right. Same thing.
Granted, that's a lot to ask and whatever, but damn, this phone keeps locking. Get these out 1 second. Here we go. Okay, and we're making good progress on these. We're in the final
good
stretch of them.
Man.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. These are great questions too. How much crink do you go through since the start of the Jeter process? It's a good question. That one's from Up North Card 17. Which
I've definitely been ordering more. I had never done it before, where I ordered colors based on like a team. I'll be like, I know I got this card coming up soon, so I should stock up on orange or something like that. So I've gone through a lot of paint for sure, but I also do a lot of my cards digitally too. So I've not been measuring, but I'd say like with the Jeter one, I went through like 3 of these. Yeah, and 3 of those. There's not that much paint in here, but they do go quite a long way.
Sure.
It's very dense. Yeah.
Awesome. Great question, Boomer. Okay, if Topps added a 21st iconic rookie card for artists, who would you hope it be? We kind of went over that. So yours, I guess, would be Mantle, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Bo. Let's see here. Arbalest25 says, this is for both of you. If you could paint any landmark in the world, mural or add your artwork to any museum, which of your pieces would you choose, and what landmarks would you choose to paint? That's interesting.
I think that question's from Abraham, who's one of my patrons. He's the man.
Nice.
Abraham Robles.
A.B. Robles. Yeah, I said Arboles, but yeah, A.B. Robles, 25.
Landmarks? If I had to paint a landmark, like on the sculpture, or you mean like a painting of the sculpture?
To me, it sounds like painting on the landmark, which I probably wouldn't feel comfortable doing a mural on the Grand Canyon, but it'd be cool, I guess. Maybe if it was like some water-based paint, and I don't know. That's a tough one. I
would do the Great Wall of China. No, nice. I don't know, like some giant wall separating the border, maybe like the wall that doesn't exist between Mexico and New York and the U.S. Like do some like epic wall mural that divides two places, and it's like it would be a symbolic piece.
Totally, I like that. I think that's awesome. What about and I guess I'll go with Grand Canyon. I think it'd be cool. It'd just have to be some eco-friendly paints that would wash away with the first rains.
Nature art, man. You could do like a Goldblum type thing.
And then if you could have your artwork in any museum, which of your pieces would you choose? I don't really think you get to choose which art goes into a museum.
You start the museum.
I could choose I would love. So when I started my art full-time career, I did this project called 90 Days to Moma, where I was trying to basically, within 90 days of becoming a professional full-time artist, trying to get my art into SF Moma. And it was a fun project. We documented the whole thing. We ended up doing a flash mob at the end, and I had 30 people smuggle my art into this museum in gift shop bags, and they all pulled it out at the same time. And the patrons and the staff thought it was performance art, so they actually let us hang in there for a while. But anyways, I think that it would be cool full circle if SF Moma hit me up and he's like, all right, they were like, all right, we're ready to put you on the walls, for real.
That's an amazing project, dude. That's such a. I mean, only a marketing brain would come up with that. I feel like, but that's such a really interesting way to launch your career. Even if you weren't sure if it was going to work, but an organized flash mob
Yeah. So we
That's
had, I hired this videographer off of Craigslist. He moved into my house for the summer, my parents' house, and we both lived there. And I yeah, it was an awesome summer. And every single day we filmed, and we put out a video, the next day showing what we did. So like the very first day, we literally just went to Moma. I had two pretty small paintings in a paper bag. And I just asked them at the front. I'm like, hey, I want to talk to the curator. They're like, why? I'm like, because I want to get art in this museum. And they're like, okay, we'll go get them. And at first I was like, holy shit, if we get in on the first day, it'll be hilarious. But then like the PR person came out. And it's like, no, you can't talk to the curator. Whatever. It was a whole thing. But there's a whole series on YouTube, which is it's pretty fun to go back and watch and see, what's changed, in my mind, and like the way that I think and talk about my art. But also like how much is just the same, that I'm, wildly positive and just going for it, which I think is like a really cool thing to see. Anyways, Your turn. What museum?
Well, didn't you say Moma?
Well, yeah, no, I said, no, that's what I'm saying. I would love to get my art in Moma. As far
what
as
museum and what piece?
Yeah, I don't know. I would let them pick. I don't care. Anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, what museum? I'm a big fan of MoMA as well. Also, the Museum of Arts and Design in New York.
Yep.
In Columbus Circle area is really cool. The Whitney Art Museum is really cool. The New Museum. Those are my favorite museums. Those four. Yeah. So any of those would be cool with me. I guess if I had to choose, it'd be MoMA or maybe Guggenheim, but that's like way fancier. It's a really cool building. I love the Guggenheim architecture. Totally. How you walk up the spiral ramp, and that's the whole gallery, and then you get to the top, and then you go down, and that's the whole experience. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I haven't been, actually. I've never been.
Yeah, it's right near Central Park. So what piece would I put in there? I put this one. No, I'm just something that fun though. Something that has like that. The thing I like about these one-line drawings that I do is like you can see where my hand went exactly. And it almost like gives you a perspective into how I made it without even having to explain it at all,
Yeah, that's rad.
You can almost see where I started and finished and what was like the last details of like all the little dots. Those usually what I do last. So something like that would be cool to see in the MoMA, right next to the Keith Haring exhibit.
Nice. Amazing HOF had another good follow-up question for each of us. Is there one piece of yours that you would never sell, even if you were homeless and needed food? I'll let you go first.
One piece I would never sell. Honestly, no. Like I'm not super precious. I had an experience a few years back where I lost everything that I owned to a fire. So I've gotten really good at like realizing that I don't need to keep anything throughout my whole life. Like it's okay if everything was lost. I can always restart as long as I'm healthy, as long as I have my hands to create and my family and my girlfriend and everything that's important. So
that's awesome, man. I love it. So same for me. There's nothing, everything's for sale. And that's partially because, I don't get attached to my art. I get attached and I like it, but I always want the art to like go to somewhere where it's really going to be appreciated. So if anybody wants to buy my art, any piece, from any time, whatever, like it's, they're all different prices, but everything's for sale.
Now, if somebody contacts you and is like, hey, do you have anything in this price range, or do you have anything in this size? Do you then refer them to somebody that works with you on your team and then they hook them up, or do you do that personally?
That's a great question. So I don't get the question of do you have this stuff in this size, or do you have like stuff in this price range much? A lot of the outreach I get is people wanting to do commissions. And so I have a waiting list for commissions right now, and we're doing 2 commissions a month plus 2 charity pieces per month. So I'm trying to do complete one painting per week. And that's in addition to the Tops 2020 stuff, which is ambitious. This is the first month that we're doing it. Already the month's half over, and I'm finishing my first piece tomorrow night, which is a Russell Wilson piece that was a charity auction. So for that,
go on, keep going.
So for that, if people reach out, Tess, my sister, who's managing my inboxes, manages the commission waiting list. And so we're still kind of figuring out the system, honestly, but the idea is, it's first come, first serve. We're telling people, what the prices are. Obviously, we want to make sure that these are serious buyers. But on the waiting list end, like we're not collecting deposits. As soon as they're up and they're going to be produced that month, then Tess will be reaching out and saying, okay, you've hit the top of the waiting list. If you still like to proceed, you need to pay 50% deposit, and Blake will finish it in the month of July. And then the balance is due when it's done. So Tess is helping with that. If I were to get inquiries about other stuff, like, hey, do you have anything in the $2,000 price range or whatever it is, Tess would probably be the one to do that, because she's doing all my inboxes, both email and the social inboxes. And I got to tell you, man, that is the best hire that I could possibly have made. It is just decluttered and made me so much more less anxious about feeling like I have to get through my whole inbox, and it's just can be daunting. And so,
yeah, and then it makes your fans happy because they get a response like quickly.
Exactly.
And then that if it needs your attention, that Tess can get it.
Yeah.
And then not left hanging. I don't have anybody that's managing all my inboxes yet. I remember we talked about this last time.
Yep.
I'm still trying to find like the right person for it, or just like I'm still training my team and having them help me with other stuff and get into the new studio. So there's a few things that gotta come in, but that's not something I'm hoping for a little bit later this year, is to just spend time on social media, less time on my email. I like interacting, but it does take me away a lot from art, and gotta focus on that.
Yeah. Jason Eggert. Yeah, you're above the waiting list. You're in the pending list.
How does somebody join the waiting list?
Just email me or Tess. So like, because she manages the inboxes, if they email me about it, she'll just we've got the system down now. Let's see here.
I'm just curious. I don't know a waiting list. I always just refer people to Patreon. I say I'll announce when I have commissions open in Patreon. But now you're making me feel like I should probably get a waiting list of people who are like really interested, because what if they don't see the Patreon post or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's been awesome. And this is the first time in my art career where like I have a waiting list, which is another, I mean, it's, how much changes. It used to be like, every month I was not pestering, but like following up with all these people who had, been thinking about getting a piece. And I was just counting on like being able to convince one or two of them to go for it so that I could continue to like pay my bills and buy paint. And it's like, it's a very different situation now where people are beating down my door to get a commission and pay full price. And I'm like, I can get to you in like 6 weeks. I wish it was faster. I wish I could get to him sooner, but even doing four paintings a month on top of the 2020 stuff is like I said, it's a very ambitious goal. And the only reason that I can like do it is because I have a team that's doing stuff now that I used to do all myself. If I was trying to do it all myself, it would be a lot slower to get through that pipeline.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point where I can just create a bunch of art, whether I lay out paper on my table or I set up a bunch of canvases and just like do my crank thing, and then they get taken off the wall, and my assistants, Elliot takes care of the shipping, and Noah takes care of the pricing, and I got like everything else is just taken care of, and I can either keep creating or do what I want to do.
Totally.
That would be sweet. I definitely didn't expect to get there this year, but with this project, I think like last year was when my original art started to really pick up, before Project 2020. I studied graphic design many years ago. So, I'm super old. No, back in the day, I studied graphic design, and only in the last couple of years have I started to take fine art more seriously. And then last year, started doing commissions, and now this year, I have the same kind of amazing problem you have.
And the mural work that you do, I love.
Thanks, man. I want to do more of it. I got one this weekend, actually.
Nice.
Doing a mural at a flower shop down the street. So that's fun.
Awesome.
It's a big one. Big white wall. Yeah.
That's great. So everyone's commenting on these needle nose pliers I have.
What's up with that?
So I made a trade with a friend for a painting here in Vegas, and it was stretched. And so today, to carry it home, I went and got these so that I could take the staples out, and then we got a tube so we could roll it up. Oh, that's weird. My car just shut off after a super long time of just being on, but anyways, yeah, so that's why I have these pliers. We just bought them at Home Depot just so I could get the staples out, and now I have another set of pliers, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. That's kind of ties into this. Do you stretch your own canvases?
I have, but lately I have not been doing that.
Yeah.
But I know that they come out way better when you do that.
Yeah, so I only stretch my own when I'm doing really large scale stuff. For the most part, like 24 by 36 movie poster size is my most standard, at least before Project 2020. That's my most common size that I paint. And it's just the amount of time it takes to build stretcher bars and stretch it myself. It does come out really nice, but I'd rather spend that time painting. And so if I'm doing the standard sizes, 18 by 24, 24 by 36, or even 36 by 48, I'll just buy those off the shelf at Blick. I usually do buy their like premium, the thick canvas, the thick, the gallery depth, exactly. But yeah, whenever I'm painting like bigger than, I'd say 36 by 48, I'll stretch it myself. I'll build the stretcher bars. And it's fun to do, but it's like it's time consuming.
Yeah, for me at this point, it's not worth it. I actually really like working on paper too.
Yeah.
And I can roll it up in a tube and send it out to people, and it comes out great. Or I'll send it flat sometimes if it's like a really thick paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done more than, I don't know, maybe like 50 canvases ever like that.
Oh, wow.
in my adult life. I don't really paint on canvas that much. It's like mostly paper.
Yeah, it's cool. So I keep track of everything. Every single thing that I paint is numbered of like 2009 or 2019 or 2020 001. That's my first painting of the year. 002. It's all chronological, and I have like a pretty in-depth like kind of filing system online with Google Docs where I keep track of like the painting, the date it was painted, the number, the size, where it was painted, the medium. All these things, they're all written on the back, and then I photograph the front and back of everything. So I have like a pretty good documentation. But anyways, this has a point as far as you painting 50 things. So I was painting like, if we look at like 2018, I did 220 something paintings. 2019, I did 164 paintings. And this year I'll end up probably doing about 100 paintings. And so it's actually really cool that I'm able to. I like producing a lot of work because I feel like, especially at the beginning of my career, like I just needed to get in my 10,000 hours and practice because I didn't go to art school. I had no formal training at all, and so it was great to be finishing almost a painting every day. But now I'm at a point where like I want to spend more time, whether I'm working in bigger formats, or just spending more time on a small canvas, which I really like. So I'm trying to get that number down and down and down to the point where I'm doing like 48 paintings a year will probably be my goal for next year. And that way I can spend more time on each work, and also like more other revenue streams like licensing, with this deal with Topps or whatever.
Interesting, man. That's like less than one per week.
I know.
So you'd be okay. I mean, for me, I'm so scattered compared to that. I feel like I make tiny pieces on paper, and I do photograph all them before they leave my studio, but I don't number them. I don't know how many pieces I've created this year because like a lot of them take me, a couple minutes to make, those small little 8x8 drawings.
Yeah. I loved watching you do those, going around. I think you did it with like the yellow and the blue and the red.
Yeah. I got a handful of them over here on the table behind me. Yeah, just a few lines, a few of my elements, and then like, I don't know, like a story starts to come out, and it becomes a nice little pop of color for the home. I also have a couple canvases over here that I didn't show you if you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is one that I did while Tony was in the studio.
Yeah.
Little silver slug.
Sick. Dude, that's sick.
That one's 24 by 36.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's my bread and butter size. I love it.
Not sure what I'm going to do with that. And then this one actually took a lot more time with. This was acrylic and brushes.
Nice.
This was for a project with Michael's Art Supplies.
Yeah.
So Michael's Art Supplies is doing a whole campaign about like local makers, and I got a video coming out next.
Before I got this, we went to a Michael's and we bought the tube that we ended up putting the roll thing on. We were looking for basically like the little staple remover tool, which they didn't have. So we went next door to Lowe's to get this. But yeah, I like Michaels.
Me too. Yeah, they've been great to work with. And they came out and filmed a mural too, which was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm itching to do more mural work. I feel like when COVID hit, I was like, oh, there goes 2020, like no more murals, because all my lined up murals like got postponed or canceled. Yeah. And now it's starting to feel like it might actually be possible to do a little bit of traveling and do some painting murals the second half of the year. I got a mural festival coming up in September, actually. Yeah. I'm doing a big wall in North Carolina for a festival. My first ever mural festival, actually, that I'm doing my own wall. I've collaborated on walls for mural festivals, but it's a big thing, street art festivals.
Yeah. That's awesome. James asked, does Michaels frame posters? I need help. Yeah, they do have a framing department at most Michaels, at least the ones I've been to. I also, I really like Blick as well for art supplies. They also have framing departments. I mean, either of those cases, framing is really expensive, and I think it's worth doing it yourself personally. If it's a movie poster, you can get that standard size really easily. And if you need to, Google it or holler at me and I'll help you out. Whoever said that. Let's see. James.
I always suggest people go to their local framer. Like, don't always support. Like, obviously, Michaels and Blick are great for like off the shelf. It's ready to go if it's a standard size. But if you have a custom size and you have the budget to support a local business, go for it.
Yeah, totally. I absolutely agree. Yeah, I have a framer in New York Picture Framers that I love. Does an amazing job, but it's crazy. Framing in itself is an art, and it's expensive and it's tedious. And yeah, I agree, man. Support local if you can.
Have you ever heard of an artist named Andy Blank?
No.
Okay, he's in New York. The reason I bring him up is because he has this a whole operation where he does injection molding, where he creates his own frames for his art. And so there's no corners that will ever split. It's just like one piece that is the frame. And and he does all this original art, and he just like always sends it out pre-framed. And I'm like, damn, I want to get to that level where I can just like have everything pre-framed, ready to hang.
Write that down to look him up. What's his name? Something blank?
Andy Blank. Yeah, I never met him, never been to his studio or really talked to him, but I've been watching what he's doing. I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it, man. Well, dope. Is there anything else you want to tell the peoples? I think pretty soon we're going to head to the airport, eat some dinner, and then head to the airport.
No, not really. I mean, if you missed the beginning, I'd love it to have you in the Patreon. If you want to support, especially on your favorite card, like jump in there because I'll be doing special content around each card. You can just jump in for one card if you want for $5. And I'm doing the giveaway for the Jeter. So if you do end up in the Patreon, make sure you comment on that post and guess the print run. My guess is pretty close to yours. I think it's going to be somewhere between 12
does that count? Does that count, or do I have to go into the Patreon? I probably should go and do it in there so that everyone else sees it, so they don't think it's collusion.
Yeah, you should go and leave a real comment because
I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
You got a minute, but I trust you. So
yeah.
No, that's it. That's all I got, man. Thank you for having me on, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, guys, and so the Patreon link is right down below, and so is the link to buy the Jeter card. You guys have until 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, so not very long, a little over 12 hours, right, to get that card. And pick it up. I think it's dope. I'm in for 10, and you guys should be as well.
Thanks for supporting, Blake. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Everybody else, stay awesome. Tomorrow, we will be back to our regularly scheduled program where we'll be back in the studio. Like I said, I'll be quarantining, but I am going to continue just working in isolation. And I'm excited for that. Tomorrow I will be painting the Russell Wilson. And then over the weekend, I will be finishing my second Ichiro. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream that or not yet. And then early next week, I'm going to let the internet decide which Ichiro is actually going to get printed on the card, which will be a fun thing to do too.
Nice, man. Safe travels back.
Thanks, man. Talk to you soon. And everyone, don't forget, stay awesome.
Night, everybody.